to order. The first item on our agenda is the roll call. So I will start. Allison Buck is present here in Ann Arbor. Cynthia Harrison.
Cynthia's going to be a little late, but
Okay.
she's going to plan to attend.
Great. John Kotarski. I think he said present in Ann Arbor, but you are muted, but I can read your lips.
Present Ann Arbor.
Wonderful. Thank you, John. Marionetta Porter.
Present Ann Arbor.
Sarah Fuller.
Present in Chelsea.
Wonderful. Fang Zhang. I said it wrong again.
Fang Zhang.
Fang Zhang.
Yes, present in Ann Arbor.
Thank you. Sophie will not be joining us tonight. Peggy Leonard.
Present in Ann Arbor.
Mary Thiefels.
Hi, everyone. Present in Grass Lake.
Jamal Bufford.
Present in Ypsilanti.
Great. And it doesn't look like Shivam is here. Unless, yeah, no, not as an attendee. We had potentially that the student who was going to be participating with us joining us. But they're not here.
Yeah, I don't see her on just yet.
Great. Next on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, John. Do I have a second? Thank you, Sarah. Any discussion of the agenda? The only thing I will say is that generally in our December meeting, is our planning meeting. So I don't know if you all want to do that tonight or not. Are we doing elections of new leadership tonight, John?
Well, as everyone knows, I sent out a survey and I only had 2 response. So Mary and Peggy, and I sent out numerous follow-ups. So I just assumed that the commission wasn't interested in the survey, which is just fine. Whether we have an election, it's up to you if you want to hold one. Our bylaws say that we need a new chair and vice chair to start in January. So what we normally have done, have elected them at the December meeting. And we can just have nominations from the floor. It doesn't really matter. So that's your prerogative.
Okay. What I was going to suggest is that, assuming we were going to be doing elections tonight, that we hold off on doing the planning meeting and do that in, I'm not sure if our next meeting is in January or February, but doing it at our next meeting so that whomever the new leadership is running that meeting, because they will next be responsible for writing a report based off of that meeting. So it kind of made sense to me that if you're writing a report based off of a meeting, that you're running that meeting and you kind of structure that meeting in a way to write that report. But that is just my 2 cents. And if you guys want to do the planning meeting tonight, I am more than happy to lead us in a discussion about goals and et cetera. Does anyone have an opinion on it? Go ahead, John.
I agree with you, Allison, that I recall that the planning meeting always was after the election of officers, and that there were several times the planning meeting was in January. So it's not inconsistent with how we've done things in the past, and it makes sense the way you're suggested.
I agree.
Great. Cool. So we will not do planning today. We will do elections. So we'll add that to the agenda. Assuming we can have people who want to do it. I will not be running for chair. So hopefully we have folks who are either nominating themselves or other people are nominating that are willing to run. Let's add nominations, I guess, to new business in that section. That sounds good to folks.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Something.
Okay. Anything else people want to discuss about the agenda? Yes. Fang
I
Zhang.
had a question. Remember last time someone from was it from the city government? And they said about the art project in the two parks, Leslie and another park. I've never received any written document, like a call for the artist. So I'm just like to follow up. Where are we now and how we'll go about it? You know, is it like a half a year we need to get that done?
So that is part of our agenda today, I believe. There is an update about it under report from staff. I also saw the call for art went out. I saw it a couple different places. I saw it on Facebook. I think I saw an article about it. So it's definitely out there. But Vanita, would you be able to share? I think there's actually a link. Yeah, there's a link to the call and the project in our agenda for today.
Yes.
Did you get a copy of that? Okay. So take a look there, and if you need additional resources or whatnot, just email Vanita and I, and we can get that over to you for sure.
Yeah, I think there was a brand new press release. It had information on the press release going out as well. I just copied the main body of the text that I received from staff for you all to see this evening.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other items for discussion tonight to add to the agenda? Okay, well, assuming we're all okay with adding elections, do I have, are all in favor of the agenda?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Okay, agenda is approved. Now is the time for public comment. Seeing as we have,
I see Chris Brandt.
there was an attendee, Chris, but I don't see him anymore as an attendee. Oh, now they're a panelist. Chris.
Yeah. I saw them as being read it. Oh, there's
I
that.
have no comment. If that's what you're waiting for, I'm just here to watch.
Oh, great. Thank you for joining us. Hannah's here as well. Hannah, will you be talking now, or did you have another portion of the agenda?
I'm just here to say hello and
Oh,
check in.
hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Mhm.
All right, so no public comment. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. Our November 2023 minutes will be shared at our January meeting, so we don't actually have any minutes to approve tonight. So moving right along, we have old business. Looks like the City Flag Design Committee received over 390 submissions. The mayoral committee will begin to review the submittals in late December for final selections to move forward for public input in January or February, with the mayoral committee to discuss the public input in February to select the finalists. Is there any questions or further updates about the City Flag project?
I don't have any updates, of course, but I don't know if anybody from the commission is going to be on the mayor's committee to select. I don't want to be, but I would like to see, it seemed like initially when the contest was advertised that there was going to be some display of all the entries, and I would really like to push that, whether they're just little thumbnails that somebody takes and puts on the site, or whether there's actually a physical display. I just think for, I don't know, public interest, it would be nice to see all the designs that were submitted. So that's just my thought.
We had, there have been some conversations about that. As of right now, the committee is just a mayoral committee. We do not have a public art commissioner on the flag committee. The mayor has selected the team, but we have had some conversations about your public commission's request to have them all displayed, possibly in the lobby of City Hall.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
I love that idea. That would be fun, Peggy.
It would be, yeah.
All right. Next on our agenda is new business. So you all received a copy of the 2020-23 annual report. It's just a report that covers what happened between June and July of June of 22 to July of 23. If you had any time to review it and had any feedback, we can have that discussion now. Otherwise, if you have changes, if you can send them to me by Friday, that report will go to the council, just giving them an update on what we've been up to as one of our requirements that we have to submit every year. So seeing no comments, guys, just let me know. Like I said, by Friday, if you have changes or updates. I know Jamal, you sent me one. But if anyone else has anything else that they want to see happen in that one, that would be great. Other thing under new business, it looks like then there's some new power art installations that are coming up. This power art project is a project between the DDA, Creative Washtenaw, and city staff. Looks like there's going to be maintenance and MDOT requirements for installations that will begin next spring, with a planned new total of 45 power art pieces throughout the city. Benita, do you know how many new ones are coming on board to make that total of 45?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
You knew, and then yes.
I thought I wrote it in my notes when we had a meeting last week. For some reason, I'm thinking maybe 17 or 18 are brand new. Yeah. And
That's
so
great.
that was just a quick meeting with all of us. But I think that total is right, but I do believe it may be 17 and 19. Someone write it on them.
I'm curious about the maintenance plan. Is there a kind of like larger maintenance scope plan for the boxes moving forward? I know there's several boxes that have either been totally stripped of the power art due to graffiti and etc., or there are some that still just have a lot of graffiti and things on them.
Yeah, we did have our public works technician who's there. He had a new assignment for the power art. So he's getting up to speed, and he was at our meeting. We did discuss some options of doing some clear wrap around the first wrap to protect it a little bit more. It also sounds like Mark has gone out and done a lot of the preventative maintenance and checking out a lot of these a lot of the power art initially. They seem to have some type of a system that they're working from and the time frame that works for them. But he's going to get us some more information so that we can better coordinate as staff, more likely from my end and his end, on where he is when he's going out, so that we can then have a report that goes back to Creative Washtenaw and the DDA, so that all four groups are communicating a little bit better and timing everything out. It was a good meeting. We discussed a lot, and we still owe each other quite a few notes back and forth. So I might have some more information. Do we meet in January? I'm sorry, I don't have a calendar in front of me.
I wasn't sure if we were meeting in January.
I think we meet again in January.
I think we usually do.
Yeah, I think I may have some more information for you at our January meeting. But it was a nice conversation. It was a nice meeting. I think the first time you've got DDA, you've got Creative Washtenaw, you've got city maintenance, and we also had city legal on the call as well. So
Great.
A lot of good things done.
Good. I'm very excited to see that project moving forward since it was my baby from a long time ago and I like
Lot of-
seeing
yeah.
those go up.
A lot of passion behind it, really, a lot of input from, there was a conversation a little bit about looking for some community groups that might be willing to, if you see something, let us know, or use them as a work team to help, coordinate with city staff a little bit on things that might be happening. So, it was a nice meeting to hear all about that. And, Deb was really eager and, Sandra is too with her new changeover to the DDA. So everybody's kind of getting up to speed at the same time because there's some staffing changes too.
Great. Well, let me know if I can support that project in any way.
Okay, thanks, Allison.
Does anyone else have any questions about the Power Art project? Before we move on to report from staff, anything else, Benita, around new business? Oh, I know we have to do a new business. We said we were going to do elections in new business. John, do you want to lead this process?
Sure. Well, I'll open it for nominations from the floor. Does anyone want to nominate someone or themselves?
For which position?
President,
Chair.
Chair.
I would like to nominate Fang Zhang.
Okay, is there a second? Jamal seconded.
I second it.
Excellent. Fang Yang, you have been nominated. Are there any other nominations for chair? Any more?
I would like to nominate Marianetta Porter. Can I nominate two
Yes,
people?
absolutely. Marianetta Porter for chair.
These were the two people that were on my list that I wrote about, and I really stand behind it.
Excellent. Is there a second for Marianetta?
I second.
All right, 3 seconds. Allison Buck, I'll select her. So Marianetta Porter, you are also nominated. Are there any others that would like to nominate someone for chair? Seeing none others, I'll close the nominations for chair. Why don't we take a vote on the chair and then we'll move into the vice chair. Does that sound okay for everyone? Marianetta?
Do they have to accept the nomination?
I would like to withdraw this year. I've got some family issues that are really pressing, and I just don't think I can put another thing on my plate for this year.
Understood. Understood. You'll have the support of everyone, and I say that for Fang as well. So it may seem daunting to just get on some place and be asked to lead it, but we're all a team. So, I encourage either of you, if you are elected, that call on any of us. I know Allison is the past chair. I've been a chair. I'm more than happy to help in any way I can. And you can sort of distribute that those challenges. So please don't be daunted. So Marianetta, I totally appreciate you withdrawing your name. So we have Fang Yang as the nominee. So all those in favor of electing Fang Yang, it's supposed to be private. I don't know how it could possibly be. So just signify by raising your hand.
Everyone close your eyes and John will count.
Yes. Okay, it appears, Fang, that it is unanimous that we now have a new chair, Fang Yang. Let me continue with the nominations. Congratulations, Fawn. You'll bring a wonderful new insight. I'm looking forward to it. So you have a clean slate. You haven't been long enough to see the tradition. And so please break our rules. And as I said earlier, I'm willing to help in any way I can. So if you need
Thank
help,
you.
please, let me know. And I know Allison and all of us, we're really, we want you to be successful. We're a part of this. We consider it a team. For vice chair, is it chair? Yeah,
Vice Chair, yep.
vice chair. Okay. Anyone would like to nominate themselves? Yes.
I'd like to see if Marionetta would consider being vice chair. So not quite as daunting as the chair, Marionetta.
What would you consider that, Marionetta?
What in terms of responsibilities, what?
Well, it's just really to take over in case the chair is absent.
Uh-huh.
It's the hope is that you will kind of you'll be included in all of the meetings of the leadership. So you'll get a feeling for what it's like. And whatever the chair asks you to take on. But I think it would be, I think you'd be a great leader. And there are at least two of my other colleagues that think likewise. We'd like you to at least try it. And I think you could possibly juggle it. If it gets too much, as I said to Fong, that, we'll pick up the slack if you need the help. So would you be willing to consider that?
I will consider that.
Okay. Then is there a second to the nomination of Marionetta? Allison, we have three, and Fong. So are there any others that would like to be nominated for vice chair that you would like to nominate? Anyone? Then
Can I nominate Jamal?
And you would like to nominate Jamal? Okay. There's a nomination for Jamal, and there's Jamal.
I would like to nominate Mary Thiefels as a backup secondary vice chair to Marionetta.
Okay, well, let's deal with your nomination. Is there a second for Jamal, a nomination for Jamal?
If Jamal accepts.
And yes, and we have 3 seconds. So Jamal, are you withdrawing or are you accepting?
I'll accept.
Okay. And so now that Mary Thiefels has been nominated for vice chair. Is there a second for Mary Thiefels? Allison seconds it, yes. And so, Mary, are you willing to consider the nomination for vice chair? Okay, I see you're shaking your head. So we have Jamal, Marionetta, and Mary Thiefels for vice chair. I need someone to count Allison. If we can count who would
Before we proceed, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Marionetta, you kind of reluctantly said you would do it. Since we have 2 other nominations, are you thinking that you would just as soon pass, or are you still interested?
I would just as soon pass. One of the things that I'm thinking as we think about our structure, and I know this might be changing bylaws, if we're electing new officers every year, the idea that Jamal is stepping down, he has some experience. I think having some experience with that team, the chair and the vice chair, is a nice transition. when
So
you
I
have
think, I think
two new people
traditionally,
on board, then it becomes a different kind of thing. I think that happened with Allison and Sarah. You know, it was really nice transition because they both had some experience doing this. So we weren't starting with a clean slate every year. Just something to think about in the future.
It's the
so
trans,
ideally, I would say from my understanding, ideally someone takes the position for 3 years. And in a perfect world, the vice chair would then transition to chair.
that's
Now-
been tradition.
It hasn't worked out so well, you know, in recent years, but I'm still hopeful that that is how things will work. So yes, I agree, having consistency and some leadership that continues is important. That being said, I'm not leaving the commission. John's still here, Sarah's still here. We still have people who have led that will be here for answering questions at meetings for whatever folks need as well, regardless of where our titles are chair or vice chair, et cetera. So
Gotcha.
For that reason, that's why I'm not withdrawing myself. But if I get outvoted, I mean, can't argue with that.
So Marionetta, you would like to withdraw your nomination at this time.
Sure, at this time.
And
So
there is a leadership working group, so potentially Mariana, maybe just join that working group, and that's a
Yeah.
way to kind of flow into that as well.
Great.
And you can take on chairs of various, yeah, exactly, working groups. Sorry, Allison, my brain is a little bit slow.
You're good.
So we have 2 people that have been nominated for vice chair, Jamal and Mary. Let's take Jamal first. All those in favor of Jamal, raise your right hand or left.
Can we only vote for one?
You can only vote for one. Can't vote for 2. 1, 2, 3. 4. All those in favor of Mary Thiefels, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. So Jamal, you are the continuing vice chair. Mary, we'd like you to sort of continue your leadership role and hopefully next year. The nominations have been complete. We have a chair and a vice chair. And so Allison Fong's term does not start until the first of the year. So you continue as chair for this meeting. And then Fong's, you will chair the meeting the first of the year. And I'm sure that Allison will communicate with you and help you sort of get your sea legs. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking care of that, John, and everyone who voted and put people forward and everyone who's willing to serve. I really, really appreciate it. It can feel a little scary, but it's really just 2 reports and pretending you know the rules and running a meeting. I don't really know what I'm doing, so you can do it. All right, we have new leadership. That's wonderful. So next on our agenda is the report from staff. We have a lengthy paragraph here about the celebrations commemorating Ann Arbor's bicentennial in 2024 with this new mural project that's coming on board, where we had the presentations at our last meeting. The call for art is out. They're looking for proposals from artists to be submitted by 5 p.m. on Monday, February 5th. There is an email address included in this agenda for folks to contact, as well as a website and a request from staff for us to all share out this information broadly with anyone who may be interested in the opportunity. Benita, is there anything else about that project you want to share at this time?
No, that that should be for, we had the presentation last month for the basketball courts.
Yep.
I don't have anything additional, but I think I was just sharing that notification back out to let folks know that there's actual press release that's out there and been shared with everybody to call artists to come and submit their art project.
Vanita, in the new year, and maybe you don't know this, but come January of 2024, is there going to be more publicity on all of the events that the city has planned?
For bicentennial?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, for the
Yeah, yes. We do have a link out there now for all of the bicentennial opportunities. There may not be very many listed right now, but there is a city link. I can share that out tomorrow with everybody if you'd like to have that link to see that as the calendar opens up. You went muted, Peggy.
Peggy, you're muted.
When we were talking on the flag design project, we had talked about just some of the events that were coming, and so I was hoping they were still going to move forward.
Great. I can share the link with everybody. Thank you, Peggy.
Cynthia, I see you joined us. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Sorry, I had an overlapping constituent coffee hour that I didn't schedule, but
No worries. I'm glad you could join us.
Good to see you all.
Next on our agenda is report from committees. Do any of the committees have any updates to share? Or working groups? I think is what we're currently calling ourselves, working groups.
Yeah, I was asking Vanita which subcommittee I should join, or how many working groups are there now? And I haven't been participating in any of that.
So usually in our planning meeting, we kind of reconfigure our group anyways, which is going to be the January meeting. So based on what our required activities are by our bylaws, so there's certain things we're required to do, like suggest projects through the CIP. So that's why we have our CIP working group. We are supposed to promote the public art collection, which is why we have our promotion, our marketing working group, outreach working group. So there's certain things that are stipulated in by the city that we're supposed to do. But then we also in that planning meeting talk about what we want to do and what we think is important. So for like example, in that meeting, I'm going to mention that I really still want us to plan on putting together a mini grant program with our endowed funds. So that would probably be either its own independent working group that would do that work, or maybe the leadership working group would create the structure around that. So based on whatever outcomes come out of that meeting is kind of how we decide what working groups we need in order to do the work that we have to and want to do. So actually the next meeting is a perfect time to figure out where you fit in with working groups. As the new chair, you will fit in a lot of working groups, although I will say it's tempting as chair to be involved in all of them. And I found that to be exhausting and not the best use of my time. So I would say being selective is important as chair so that you can do all the chair work as well. Is that helpful?
Can you also, I can email you about the time we can both meet together for some of the transition and chair responsibilities and how to take care of this work nicely.
Yes, I would love that.
Thank you.
All right. I see no updates from any working groups. Next on the agenda is special presentations. Do we have any of those? I don't see any listed underneath it. No. Okay. Any personal or professional updates folks want to share before we adjourn? Yes, Sarah.
Stop by this Saturday, the 9th, to Motawi Tile Works for our winter market, where we will have the staff art sale. We have more participating artists than we've ever had before. We will have on the spot pet portraits. That's going to be really fun. Santa, Metzger's will be there. Noel Motawi will be tile signing. And it's going to be a real fun celebration. So it would be great to see you guys there.
At what time?
This is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Motawi.
I'm planning on being there. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight, and I look forward to our discussion in January. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All right, that's like a bunch of seconds. Anyone opposed? Do not oppose. All right, have a great night.
Congratulations, Fawn.